Greetings everyone, Poseidon here with some more information on the fight pits. So, again, Creators Faction got the scoop on this, so let's go through what you're going to see here. So we're going to be finding out information about the pit structure and how that's going to work. Some of the rules, the confirmed attack types. So we talked about the attack types before, but now we've got the confirmed ones. And while this isn't really new, just going to go over the team communication again. Alright, so this is what the pit structure looks like. So this is where everyone's going to start, right here at the pit. And you can see that it says round start VP. So every round you're going to start with a certain amount of VP. When you attack, you are going to steal however many points per attack, you know, depending on the pit you're in. These are the areas that I have a little bit of question about. I'm a little fuzzy on. I'm going to kind of give you what I think is the case. That's not necessarily true. The information we got wasn't like 100% clear on that, but this is the structure we were given. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of put this side by side with the screenshot that we had last week. So this is like, this says training grounds. I don't know if that's accurate because you notice here it says starting VP 200k, and that's also what it happens to be for the Coliseum. So I'm going to assume that this is actually the Coliseum and not the this is just a mock-up anyway, because notice that all three other teams other than your team say Dragon Lord. I'm assuming that'll say your, not you team. And we kind of went through that, you know, this shows who the champion is, these show like who's going to be getting promoted, who's going to be getting demoted, that kind of thing. So what I think is going to happen is this is like what when it says like percent of teams promoted, percent of teams demoted, and percent of teams that remain. I'm assuming that might mean kind of at the beginning and end of each round. So like the pit will be made up at the beginning of the round of 60% of the teams that or 60% of the teams will be promoted up. Okay, and then whereas here at the end of the round, 60% of the teams will be promoted down. Obviously, you can't really be demoted from the pit, so I don't know if this means that 70%, 75% of the teams in the pit will be made up of teams that were demoted, while 25% will be made up of teams that remained. That's kind of, you know, that adds up to 100%, so that kind of like lines up, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to try and get some clarification on all of that, and I'll kind of talk about it a little bit towards the end when I give you guys my thoughts and questions that I still have. Okay, as far as rules go, so you are going to earn VP by stealing or attacking them from other teams. Okay, this gets added to your team's VPs. Now, it can be thought of in two ways. You have your round victory points. That's what's stolen and built upon each round. So this is the important part, is it's each round. And at the end of the round, this is added to your total victory points. Okay, your total victory points is like a running total after each round. And that's what you build on. It can't be stolen, and it's cumulative. So basically, like, let's say my team earned 45,000 the first round, 70,000 the second round. Our cumulative or total VP would be, assuming what I just remembered what I said. If it was 45,000 plus 75,000, you know, that'd come out to 120,000 overall. So that's just an example. And what's interesting about this is, unlike, you know, kind of like capture the flag, where your victory points kind of like are what you have at the end of each round based on what flags you have, and that can go up or down. Your total victory points are only going to go up. So I'm going to be curious how this is going to factor into like how which teams end up in which pits, how that all works out. Okay. Additionally, the winner of each pit will receive an additional bonus victory points called the champion bonus, and that'll be on top of their final round score. So like if we went back and looked at the Coliseum where the victory points were 200k, 20% of that would be 40k, so you would get an additional 40,000 points added to your total points. Okay, also, each round lasts 6 hours. Teams are either going to be promoted to a higher pit, drop to a lower pit, or stay in the same one. Like I said, obviously you can't drop below the pit and you can't go above the Coliseum. It's those middle ones that are going to kind of, I think, see the most movement. Okay, the number of teams in a single pit will range from 25, which is round 1 because everyone starts in the pit, to 3, which is round 5 in the Coliseum. It's going to be closer to 6 to 10 per pit depending on the round. So basically, it seems like you'll only be able to move up 1 pit per round. So that's why, like, if we started in the pit, you know, and then we had the jail, and then the training grounds, and then the Coliseum. Okay, so this would be round 1. Everyone would be here. Round 2, if you were moving up each round, that'd be round 2. Round 3. It says round 5 in the Coliseum, so I'm not sure because basically, if you started here in round 1, this would be going into round 2. That'd be going into round 3. That'd be going into round 4. So somewhere in there, I'm not sure if somehow it takes an extra round to move up, or that's why I'm curious as to what's going to be the criteria for moving up. And again, I'll kind of mention that at the end. Obviously, the higher pit you're in, you're going to steal more points per attack than in lower pits. Excuse me. You saw that in that chart that I had where it said that the Coliseum you'll be stealing 115 points per attack, while as in the pit it'll be 100. And then individuals, so this is where you earn your event points for yourself and your prizes and whatnot. That's going to be based on the total amount of points you steal over the course of the event. So that's pretty much par for the course. So again, we talked about attack types last time. We didn't have confirmed ones other than regular attacks and super attacks. It is confirmed that mega attacks will be in here, and that inner fire will be able to be used for an additional multiplier for each inner fire used. All right, team communication. So again, that's this area right here. Okay. And that's an area that officers and the leader can edit, no one else. However, it'll be viewable by team members from the event screen. So if you go to the battle and you click on the pit that you're in, this is going to pop up, and it looks like there's quite a bit of area to write whatever strategy you have. So you might want to kind of have like a multi-strategy, like, hey, if you're this level to this level, do this. If you're lower level, do this kind of thing. Alright, so these are kind of my thoughts, remaining questions. I mentioned this before. What determines whether a team's going to be promoted, demoted, or remain? Is it going to be based off your total VPs? Is there going to be like a hard cap, like you have to get, this amount of points to move out of this pit, or if you fall below this amount of points, you're going to end up demoted? Okay, round VPs, is it going to be, and this, I don't think it's going to be this, and I don't think it's going to be this, because since there's a cumulative point total, it really couldn't be a hard cap, but again, I'm not sure. It really couldn't be round VPs because if you were going to move up, you're basically, the lower teams are going to have lower VPs, so how would they move up and how would the other teams get pushed down? So this is probably my biggest question, is what's going to determine who's where. This one's an interesting one though. What strategies are going to be viable? So I was thinking, would it be better, and I don't know because I haven't seen it, but might it be better to, like, say if you got up to the training grounds, stay there and not move up and just kind of like keep adding to your total VPs rather than risk moving up, and some of the teams up there might smash your team. You don't know. It depends on the league you're in and whatnot. But if you've got a team that has heavy spenders, use a lot of mega coins, have a lot of energy, you really want to move up and potentially lose all your round VPs, and then you're adding 0 to your total. So it might make more sense in this particular event to kind of like stay within a round, because you can only attack teams that are in the same pit as you, remember. So I'll be curious to see if there's some strategizing that go on that goes on with this particular event. And then the other thing I noticed is that it said, like, for example, the Coliseum, that per attack you stole 115 points. Now, other events like have modifiers based on the player's level and so on and so forth. I want to know, is this a straight, like, 115 points per attack, you know, modifiers aside, like, you know, inner fire, what type of attack and whatnot. But basically, like, if I had a level 200 player, let's call him Joe, you know, and a level 100 player called, you know, Bob, okay, are they both 115 points? Because if that's the case, it's pretty obvious that you're going to want to start from, like, the bottom of the list and work your way up to the harder ones, rather than, like, in other events, you pick the highest level player you can handle, you know, or you and your backup can handle to get the most points out of each attack. So, it'll be interesting to see if that's something that I think it's going to be. There's going to be a modifier based on level, but if I'm wrong, that's going to kind of change things around a little bit, and it'll be kind of fresh and new. I like it. Trying to think if there are any other questions I have. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but if you guys have any, please leave them in the comments below. I should have another one of these up in like a week or two. We've got the Atlas launch party, and I'm hoping to get some answers to the questions by then, if not sooner, because I'll be up there in San Francisco. So if any of you are out there, feel free to find me, say hi. And yeah, so here, let's go with some contact information now. For the game, Wardragons.com, obviously, good place to find some information. Follow them on Twitter at WarDragonsGame. You can follow me on Twitter at PQHiggins, and you can also find my blog and artwork at wardragons.info/Poseidon. So, guys, please leave your comments or questions in the comments section for the video, and I will look forward to making another one of these soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.